another momentous occasion. Don't let them have you melancholy out here. Don't you know we finished first?
AJK.
Tell them cowards to fall back or fall flat. Let's get it. Yeah. Put us on Tel Aviv and Al Jazeera. See the truth crystal clear when I speak the real. Circle the hemisphere, Jacob grab against the heels of Esau. We want it all, we can't make no deals. Touchdown, they get the chills off these energy fields. Making moves outright, but we cleverly build. Truth concealed, now exposed like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Got 20/20 vision, I can spot these foes. Like David and Goliath had to cop these stones. Cock back and just rock they dome. That's the power of Messiah, now the stars in alignment. Better stay on your assignment, God bless you if you trying. Time to drain the swamp, lead the snakes in the bayou. A leader in Israel, and I ain't Netanyahu. Come with punchlines, uppercuts like I'm Ryu. A soon to be tycoon, so let them niggas talk. I pray they get a life soon. Get it in your thick skull, nigga, I will not lose. Well, Yah bless, let no man curse. Let the last finish first and expose these perks. Let the chosen shine light on the face of the earth. All these jealous, scared cowards, may they all get murked. Well, Yah bless, let no man curse. Let the last finish first and expose these perks. Let the chosen shine light on the face of the earth. All these jealous, scared cowards, may they all get murked. May they all get murked. Yeah. This the definition of solid. Give them stone cold truth, circumvent all the liars. And I still fall short, Lord help us and guide us. Too many masons and shriners trying to corrupt and divide us. We ain't running or hiding, I was conceived in violence, gunpowder and sirens. Pushed in this world with ghetto dreams from scholars, so I applied myself, gain a wealth of knowledge. Got them crabs steady grabbing, they don't know that I'm heartless. I don't eat bottom feeders, skull crack regardless. Keep it cool, little homie, for it's really your problem. Old school nostalgia, got the truth from the Bible and started moving mountains. Glorious truth and power, this the spiritual prowess. You can tell who the weakest by the one who's the loudest. 100. Well, Yah bless, let no man curse. Let the last finish first and expose these perks. Let the chosen shine light on the face of the earth. All these jealous, scared cowards, may they all get murked. Yeah, well, Yah bless, let no man curse. Let the last finish first and expose these perks. Let the chosen shine light on the face of the earth. All these jealous, scared cowards, may they all get murked. Oh, you old shady ass niggas don't even know how we coming. Got me feeling like Steve and Darby mixed with President Mugabe out here. Straight courage. It's straight from the bone, you know what I'm saying? Authentic. Ain't nothing they can do about it. Just vibe out or ride out. You know what I'm saying? They throwing stones to hide their hands. Nothing but cowards. I see them. Shalom, shalom. Hey, peace and blessings to everybody joining. Hey, if my audio is coming through clear, put a 1 in the chat. I see brothers and sisters rolling in. Unapologetic Queen is in the building. Nelly Wang, Reggie Flo, Royal Priesthood. Shaquille's in the building. Gina, Terrific Tarsha. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. All praises to the Almighty. You know, this particular subject matter brings me to a bit of nostalgia because I spoke about gang stalking for a number of years here on YouTube. And I want to bring forth a perspective that is pretty much untold to the TI community, to brothers and sisters who have been through what we label as gang stalking. And for those who are unfamiliar with that terminology, it just simply means when a group of people have an unhealthy obsession with one person and they become fixated on that individual and they begin to stalk them. Now, this can come in many levels, in many different forms. But what a lot of individuals don't discuss when they're bringing up gang stalking is how spiritual it really is. And a lot of the times, a lot of brothers and sisters undergo a lot of tumultuous situations. Everything from family isolating and ostracizing to agencies pricking and prodding, strangers and gangs vandalizing property. There's individuals who've experienced a great deal of trial, and they lose sight of something, an entity and a force that can basically trump and supersede this so-called program where individuals come against you to slander you, lie. Well, slander is lies, but of course, there's more tactics than that. I mean, there's a lot that we go through as chosen ones of the Almighty, particularly if you have political, social, or even religious differences from a lot of other people. If it's anything outside of what is mainstream, a lot of the times you generate a lot of attention towards yourself and people begin to stalk. And this is the one thing that a lot of people lose sight on, and that is the Most High, the power of the Almighty. Listen, the scriptures tell us clear as day. And we're going to 2 Corinthians, where it tells us the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Matter of fact, let me pull that scripture up because there's more to it. That's 2 Corinthians 10:4 says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Who am I? Forgiveness, what makes it easier." Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part they miss out on. Although there's highly sophisticated technology that they use in these programs to watch the people, there's all kind of weapons and tactics that they have. The one thing that a lot of brothers and sisters don't understand is that's this form of weakness. When the so-called powers that be gotta utilize all these resources and come up with all these tactics and all of these instruments to be able to scan in on you, all these cameras, we're living in a surveillance state. All these smart devices are actually, taking DNA analysis, reading your retinal scan, taking fingerprints from you. Do you understand that that's a form of weakness? When an individual got to get use all those resources to target, certain people in life just because these people think differently. Send spies. Let me tell you something, you strong, powerful people, you got to understand when you can get people to start recruiting other people to go against you, you doing something in the spiritual realm. You shaking something up. That you exposing some weakness somewhere. If you able to get these people out of character where they find a need to convert everybody against you. So you survived this long, going against all odds, but somehow brothers and sisters have let this program get the better of them. The scriptures also tell us, because we're gonna go there and we're gonna go over this video as well, so we can look at this from a practical standpoint, from an alleged doctor, because even videos that question gang stalking as so-called targeted individuals or chosen ones, you should be watching these videos as well, so you can make sure you thinking practically and you're not thinking outside of the parameters of what your foes and adversaries, because that's what it is. It's an adversary. Tactics of the devil. So you don't begin to think they can do more outside of the parameters that they're allowed to do. Because sometimes people give the so-called powers that be too much credit. You fear them more than the Most High. So let me bring some things out, right? let's see here. We're going to play a little bit of this video, and I'm gonna dig further into some scripture. Let's get to it. And everybody pound the like button on the video. Let's go.
Today's question asks if I can analyze.
I don't hear the audio coming out. I don't know what happened. Y'all give me a moment, because while the video was loading, something weird happened. So give me one moment. All right. Let me know if you all heard it, ladies and gentlemen, because we experiencing some technical issues. Let me know if you
the construct of gang stalking. So sometimes with this
put a 1 in the chat. We heard it just low. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to another platform and share this, because I believe this same video. Well, hold on. No, there's another way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Let's see. Somebody said I can hear it. It's good. All right, let's try again. Let me know how the volume is, ladies and gentlemen.
Construct, the people who believe they are subjected to it call themselves targeted individuals. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosed.
All right, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear everything clearly. And it was loud enough. Volume's great. All right, thank y'all. Thanks for y'all participation. Now, this gentleman here, he is about to discuss what a targeted individual is from a very non-biased standpoint. All right. This is just a man who is a doctor. Oh man, something's going on again. All right. This is a man who's a doctor who has, basically trying to establish what this is from a mental aspect. Right. And then we're going to chime in with scripture and I'm going to give some insight on this topic. Hank, thanks for the $5 contribution. I appreciate the support. Let's continue.
Noticing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. So before I talk about the construct of gang stalking, I think it's important to distinguish this construct from what's referred to as individual stalking. I guess one could use the terms regular or traditional stalking as well, although that seems a little unusual to.
Right, and I think there should be a clear difference between individual stalking and brothers and sisters who believe that they're on some type of governmental watch list. You need to distinguish what's the difference. If you have your antennas up and you believe that certain things are happening in your life that are very peculiar and you starting to connect certain dots, you need to ask yourself, have you done anything to put yourself on a government watch list to have agencies actually watch you? Or is it people that you may have offended through secret offense? Is it people in your family? Do you come from a family of Freemasons, Eastern Stars? Are you coming from a family that may be a part of some type of religious institution? Are your family into the occult? Are you waking up spiritually? So, and I find this very necessary because, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be careful spewing out certain things in public, claiming to be being watched and gang stalked. And you can't trust that information with just anyone. Number one, just telling people that and putting it out there if you don't even know exactly what's going on. So I think it should be a distinction, right? He's making a fair assessment right there saying, hey, who are you being watched by? Because there comes a time where brothers and sisters actually become paranoid, actually suffer from schizophrenia. You're actually allowing demons to fester if you're just operating in fear, believing the whole entire world is against you, and you're not even able to see where this persecution is actually coming from, right? So let's put it out there, because we don't want to be those people who allow the enemy to make us deviate from our purpose because we operating in the wrong spirit. We walking around here scared, acting like we don't know what God we serve. We can't be doing that. Matter of fact, I got more scriptures already. Matter of fact, the scriptures tell us straight up. And I'm gonna give you a lot of wisdom in this video of how to overcome this so-called program, right? First and foremost, 1 Kings 5:4 tells us, but now the Lord my God have given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurring. Wow. This is how we're supposed to be standing in this truth. That we got rest on every side. That neither adversary nor evil occurring. What is occurring? It's spelled OCCURRENT. I want to go to that word, occurring. The word occurring, actually occurring or observable, not potential or hypocritical or hypothetical. Hypothetical, not potential, observable, actually occurring. See, this is when you start to allow those demons to run wild on your imagination, because you put in a lot of hypothetical situations and you trying to connect certain dots, not understanding that the Most High give you peace on every side. On every side, you'll have peace. There won't be no speculation, right? Anyway, allow me to continue. Yes, that's another good scripture right there. Proverbs 28. It says, the wicked flee when no man pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. That's 100% facts right there. And this is the spirit that we got to get into. Seriously, it's time to level up. Let's see here.
We'll put it that way. So the idea is that when we think of the word stalking, we think of one person who is going after another, right? So I'm going to use the person A, person B situation. So person A is the stalker and person B is the victim. So the way we think of it is that person A is connected to person B in some way, or they used to be connected with person B. Person A engages in a pattern behavior where they watch person B, they follow person B, they attempt to contact them in multiple ways like calling, texting, emailing, sending letters, and sometimes person A even threatens person B. This construct of individual stalking is sometimes referred to as unwanted pursuit behavior, although stalking doesn't have to be associated with some type of romantic relationship.
A lot of you ladies are dealing with unwanted pursuit behavior. A lot of single women out there, you are the biggest targets for that form of gang stalking. And this is why brothers are always trying to tell you to get yourself a husband and settle down. You are the biggest victims of that behavior because they look at you as being vulnerable. You know, individuals in your community, when you walk out your door, they seem to appear out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they always there trying to start conversation. It's unwanted, it's unmerited. They like to pursue y'all with small talk. They love to synchronize with y'all. That happens because you definitely need somebody there to be a protector. You at least need male company. You understand? And I mean father, brother, uncle, or what have you. The presence of a man. Because these are just creeps and weirdos. And people real live be on demon time these days, right? But that don't mean you got to be out here and be operating in fear. A woman's prayers ain't no joke either, you know? Let's see. Let's continue the video.
It almost always is, but again, it doesn't have to be. So individual stalking is fairly common. At some point in their lives, 8% of women and 2% of men will be victims of this type of behavior. Gang stalking or group stalking is quite a bit different. It involves the use of multiple individuals to stalk, harass, or threaten a victim. The group must have at least 3 people in it and must be organized with a clear purpose. So we're not talking about stalking by proxy. So we're not talking about a situation where person A would hire a number of other people to threaten or spy on person B. Also, online bullying does not count as part of this definition. The phenomenon of gang stalking or group stalking is also reported much less than individual stalking. About 0.66% of adult women and 0.17% of adult men will have the subjective experience of being gang stalked at some point in their lives.
Right. And, you live in a surveillance state, so these things are real. But we're not here to question the authenticity of gang stalking. We're here to make sure that you're thinking clearly. If you are experiencing certain anomalies that's taking place in your life, we're here to add a balance. You got some individuals who sit there and they point everything to being gang stalked. Literally. They make excuses for themselves. Every flaw, every fault, everything that they do wrong in life, they blame it on the so-called program. These individuals are looking for a crutch. These individuals are making excuses. And we don't want nobody doing that. Because the moment where you think outside forces, devils, meat suits, entities, agents, and what we call Agent Smiths can stop your purpose. They can, if that's what you believe, you are sadly mistaken on what gang stalking is about. If you are believing they can stop you from reaching your goals, if you believe they can somehow suppress you, that means you need to check yourself. Matter of fact, man, let's get into these scriptures, man. We're not playing no games. I want to go to, we're going to 1 Kings 11 and 23, and it reads, "And God stirred him up another adversary, Rezon the son of Elidah, which fled from his lord Hadassah the king of Zobah." Now notice in this scripture, it says God stirred up another adversary. It said God stirred up the adversary. God stirred up the adversary. So let me get this right. God has the power to stir up adversaries against you. Is this what the Bible is telling me? On multiple occasions, the Most High stirred up adversaries against people multiple times. But we claiming to be the chosen. We claiming to be God's righteous, but we're not believing that the Almighty has the ability to deviate our enemies as well as stir them up against us for the greater good. Think about that. Matter of fact, there's another scripture I want to go to. Oh man, as I'm speaking, scriptures are just coming up. There we go, right there. Ephesians 1, and we going through 4 and 6. It says, according as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. It says everything happens for the greater good of those who are chosen. Everything that happens in life are for the greater good of those who are chosen. Everything in life. Everything, good, bad, the way people start maneuvering, the way people operate when foes are being stirred up against you, everything that happens on the face of this planet is for those who are chosen, for good to take place, a positive outcome. If you're not meditating on these scriptures and really honing in and understanding this, you will be a nervous wreck. And it will be a hindrance, and it will screw with your mental health. if you don't really meditate on these scriptures. These are our weapons. Yep. Romans 8:28. And we know that all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Exactly. All right, let's continue.
Now, in approaching this subject from a neutral stance, like scientists would if they were conducting a study, the assumption would be that gang stalking could be real. Like there could be a lot of people out there who are actually experiencing this, or it could be, in many cases, part of a delusion. This behavior is distressing to people if it's real and if it's a delusion. So either way, it's important to get a better understanding of this construct. In 2015, an explorer...
Now, notice he's talking about if this is real or a delusion. Because listen, if you believe that the enemy doesn't have the power, or the adversary doesn't have the power to bring delusions upon you, delusions, he does. Using witchcraft, you know what I'm saying, what we call divination, necromancy. Let's make this clear. It could be used as a delusion. My brother in the chat says this dude is a fraud, the Dr. Grande. See, I don't know about this guy. This is actually the first video I watched of him, but I wanted to go to somebody who is non-biased as possible. And the reason why I went to somebody as non-biased, even though he may not be the real deal, I don't know him. I'm only going to react to what he got to say. But there are people out here who are delusional. And I like the fact that he's coming from a non-biased standpoint, because there's a lot of people within the TI community who they have serious mental problems. And, you know, and it's really demon possession. They're really going through some things. And I need people to understand the difference between you really going through something, you really being targeted, and you really are, you know what I'm saying, going through the program, or is it some mental issues going on? Is it some problems going on? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want people to really consider, because the enemy has a lot of tactics. And I know the program exists. For a fact it exists and it is real. So this is, again, this is not to quit. This video is not to question the validity of gang stalking, but what it is to separate what's real and what's fake. What are these people actually capable of? And how do we fight this? Right? All right, let's continue.
Laboratory study on gang stalking was published. In the study, the researchers compared gang stalking to individual stalking and noted a number of characteristics of the victims of gang stalking that distinguished them from victims of individual stalking. In the study, gang stalking victims tended to be mostly female. The stalking behavior lasted longer than what we tend to see with individual stalking. Almost all of the participants had no idea who the stalker was. Very few thought it was a former partner. That's quite different from individual stalking, where people would almost always know who the perpetrator was. We see that there was little or no unwanted communication in the form of letters, emails, and texts. They were more likely to report being spied on, secretly photographed, and having lies spread about them. They were more likely to be scared, depressed, have post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, increased aggressiveness, and increased distrust.
Right, and these things can happen from years of abuse. These things are very real, and a lot of brothers and sisters have been through these things, and they kind of play them out. And when you know, and see, over the years when I spoke about gang stalking, there's been a lot of people who really missed the mark far as the growth of getting past this thing. Hold on, let me see something. I'm seeing a lot of crazy things on my screen while I'm trying to do this broadcast, so y'all bear with me. But listen, I'm gonna give you all scripture. I'm gonna tell you how to maneuver with whatever you're going through, right? Because we don't want to keep giving these people so much credit and making excuses for ourselves in life, right? Psalm 74:10 says, "Oh God, How long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever? Wow. It says, "O God, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever?" So, who is David praying to right now? He's praying to the Most High. How long shall the adversary be able to come against me, slander me, lie on me, target me, make my life difficult? How long shall this enemy be able to do this? David didn't capitulate to the program. No, that's not what David did. David didn't hide in his home like a turtle in a shell. David didn't do that. He said, "Lord, okay." And this is a precept. They've been riled up against me. My adversary's been riled up against me for whatever reason. How long will this last? That's how the prayer should go. Because when you come into this truth, man, the prince of the air, he's upset. He's going to send his perps. He's going to send his agents. And I'm not saying that so you can be paranoid. I'm telling you that so you can get armed up. Isaiah 54:17. "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment shall be condemned." I mean, come on, people. And this is why we stand on this foundation right here. This is why we stand on this word. Yeah, they sent a monitoring spirit to David. It ain't nothing new under the sun. It's been going on since biblical days, man. This been happening, y'all. Let's continue.
They were less likely to believe stalking had changed their personality. We see they are also more likely to report disruptions in their lives across many areas. Just a few examples: they tend to be more fearful about going out, their work performance was affected, they give up on social activities more, lose friends, they're more likely to carry a weapon, and probably most importantly, they tend to be more delusional. When putting all these clues together, it seems pretty clear that most victims of gang stalking are experiencing delusions. And this theory about delusions really explains a lot. It explains why they can't identify who's doing the stalking, why they're not getting written or digital communication.
Now, this is where I'm going to give them some pushback. I do not believe personally that most victims of organized mobbing are delusional. I do believe that there are some that are delusional. I believe that demon possession or mental health can be attributed to certain things. But what I will say is we can overcome. I don't think we understand who we are. Greater is he that is in us. Greater is he that is in us. It's like, yes, it's real. It happens. A lot of times it's very spiritual. A lot of times individuals are being riled up in the spirit because there's some light there, and demons don't like light. But let's make this clear. We can listen. We have the Most High in us. It's like we don't understand how powerful we are. Don't you know our thoughts can manipulate the environment? Somebody said it's cellular. That's real talk. Don't you know our thoughts? I'm trying to really make you understand this. Our thoughts are that powerful. We can change. We can make atmospheric changes and how we feel, what we say, how we project. You're in a 3D realm, ladies and gentlemen. This life you living in is all about how you approach it. Put it this way. Your eyes, right? They're like projection monitors. Your brain, for what you see out of your eyes, when you remember them projection monitors they had in school, and they would put these projection monitors in the class, and you would put some film in it, and whatever was in that film would pop up on a wall, right? That's the same way that we can visualize. That's the same way we project. Notice it's called a projection monitor. You can project out of your mind what happens. We're that powerful. Don't you know ye are gods? Come on now. Don't you know who you are? You're not the most high God, but ye are gods. Wrap your mind around that. Are we reading the scriptures? Do we know who our ancestors are? Do we know that we the kings and queens of this earth? Don't you know that little demons and wicked beings and these little entities and forces, they cannot stop your progression. Y'all can remove them anytime. It's all about how strong your faith is. That's what it's really about. How much do you believe this word? I believe this word in every fiber of my being, that Yah is the most high. I believe in every fiber of my being that I will be blessed and not cursed. I believe this with every bit of me, y'all. That they can't stop the chosen. It's like, what? I'm telling you, man. How do we think about this? Are we going to continue to allow these wicked meat suits to put us in fear, giving them more power, giving the demons and devils more power than they should have? Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't document or build a case against these individuals. Shout out to all the real brothers. I seen Broken Matrix in here earlier in the stream, and he has a clear case dealing with some of that high obtained harassment through the internet, things that they done to him. So I'm all for keeping a record of what's going on in case you got a lawsuit on your hands and you paying attention. You get you an EMF meter, because they like to use radio frequencies as well. And if you have those meters, you can build yourself a case. So I'm not here to tell you not to use practicalities. But what I'm saying is, you got to stop giving these people so much power and stop making excuses. That's what I'm saying. And I'm telling you this as a brother who been through it. I would not be saying this to you if I didn't overcome certain things and certain obstacles that was placed before me. My whole thought process had to change in order to get where I got. You got people, how did New Breed get where he got if he was in the program? See, that's a problem. If you say something like that, that means you don't understand who you are. That means you don't understand the power that the Almighty has. That means you don't even know who your adversary really is. A lot of times we fight against ourselves in a lot of ways. Everything that happens is to mold us and to shape us and to chastise us and try us like go through the furnace so we can come out the other end of this on point. But when people say things like that, that means they're letting the program stop them from reaching certain dynamics in life. That means they believe in the program and they believe in gangstalking more than they believe in the Most High Yah. That's what that means, y'all. That's what it means. Stop me. I ain't lied yet. Stop me when I'm telling a lie here. You're supposed to be courageous. You're not supposed to be fearful. You're not supposed to be blaming everything on the program. I can't do this because of the program. I can't do it. You sound crazy. And I even see social media people speaking like that who got followings. So let me get this right. People want to sit back and listen to somebody make excuses in their life. This is what we tell them. That's what they tell them. Is this what I'm hearing? That we get off on hearing how miserable somebody's life is and why they can't do certain things, opposed to being proactive and solution based. You know what that does? Anybody following anybody that talk like that, what that does is make you hopeless. That's what it does. It makes you hopeless. If you sit here listening to an individual talking about the program and how they can't do certain things or how they can't maneuver, that will make you hopeless. And it's a lot of these cowards out here because they cowards. They don't have Yah in their heart and their spirit. All they do is promote fear. I'm not doing that. When I speak on these topics, you're going to get it right down the middle. I'm going to shoot straight from the hip and tell you what the program is. A lot of the times, it's the Most High himself riling up adversaries against you so you can get closer to him, because you won't get closer to him without adversary. Without adversity, you will not cleave to the Most High if you don't have obstacles. If you don't have people coming against you, you won't know the importance of cleaving to the Messiah. You won't know the importance of spiritually arming yourself. You won't know the importance of prayer, of fasting, of supplication. You won't know the importance if you don't have foes coming at you. You can't build the tenacity, the courage, and stoicism it's going to take for you to make it through this. Allow me to continue.
And why they experienced the stalking for such a long duration. Even though individual stalkers can stay around for a while, eventually they usually give up. But with the gang stalking, we see that goes on for many years. There are many different ways to divide the subjective experience of gang stalking into categories. There are certain categories or beliefs that occur more frequently than others. Here's a list of some of the more popular categories of beliefs from a qualitative study. After each category, I'll provide some of the exemplar quotes for that category from the study. I will paraphrase some of the quotes. So looking at the categories, we see that being followed occurs about 90% of the time. So 90% of the people who have the subjective experience.
And I want you to know, sometimes when you're being followed by individuals and you can see them and people are synchronizing, you got to understand these are demons. A lot of people are empty vessels out here. That's simply spirits jumping in people. Similar to the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington. Y'all remember that movie? Time is on my side. Yes, it is. And the spirit would jump from one vessel to the next. That is literally what's happening. A lot of times we get paranoid believing that what agency is after. Oh, I got CIA, FBI. I got this going on and that going on. And you're not even understanding that it's spiritual. It's spiritual. Because you have a light on you because of your demeanor. So they find the necessity to follow. Let's continue.
Experience of gang stalking endorsed this category. They believed they were being watched or followed. For example, I am followed by people wearing elaborate disguises, and cars are tailgating me, and the drivers are using walkie-talkies. Next category, multiple agencies are involved in the conspiracy. 80% believe this. So the government is behind it all with the help of local police, and the people are recruited by Homeland Security from Craigslist and the FBI. So I've heard about Homeland Security and the FBI as part of gang stalking. I haven't heard of Craigslist coming up too much. Next category is electronic surveillance, 60% here. My home is bugged, and I am a victim of 24/7 covert electronic surveillance. We see physical interference, 60%. So people are blocking me with grocery carts. People are invading my personal space. People on the street are running into me. And I've been...
Now, I'm pretty sure we've all experienced that. If you know, and that's, again, you can attribute that to these demonic people who are trying to get you to get out of character. These entities and forces, they like to try to rile you up. A lot of gang stalking is to try to get you to react. They want you to react. They really want you to be in some type of mental institution. The goal is to get you to crash out. You know, the goal is to rile you up and get you out of character. So you know what I do? I laugh at them. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, I seriously crack up laughing at these individuals. I don't have no problem laughing at them. I think it's funny. They're very awkward. And it is what it is. They be looking real crazy. So it is what it is. That's how you deal with it. You laugh at them. It's good for the soul. Anyway, let's continue.
Been forced off the road numerous times by cars when driving.
Now, if you get forced off the road, you know, I mean, all of these things are horrible. And they do all these things. These are tactics that these perps do. They try to run you off the road. They try to stage car accidents. They do all these things. And listen, everything that he's talking about, I've experienced. Everything he's talking about, I've experienced. So when I'm speaking about this, I understand what you brothers and sisters are witnessing. But the pendulum has to swing. We're going to have to take some authority over this situation and start to tap into our God, because that's the whole reason it's happening anyway. The Most High is provoking us. Job 31:35 says, "Oh, that one would hear me. Behold, my desire is that the Almighty would answer me, and that my adversary had written a book." That's what he wants. He wants us to behold. The Most High won't answer us unless we going through something, unless we crying out. When Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, he heard the cries. He heard the prayers. The way you got to talk to the Most High is the same way we rant and rave when these perps are doing what they doing. We got to pray that way to the Most High. Lord, how long is this going to happen? Lord, answer my prayers. Lord, what do I need to do to get in your good graces? What do I got to do to fulfill your purpose? What do I got to do to destroy my enemies? Because that's how you got to pray. Send me on the righteous path. Make sure that these people who are clocking me can't do nothing with me. Smite my enemies. When they come at me 6 ways, let them flee from me 7 different ways. I'm telling you, man, this is how you got to think. You got to start re-gearing your focus. Your whole mind has to change when it comes to this program. Or you're going to be SOL, and you're going to be one of these people who reach a certain age, and all you're going to have is regret. And what you're going to say on your deathbed when you wasn't able to leave a legacy behind for your grandchildren? Well, the perpetrators didn't let me, the gang stalkers, since I was gang stalk, I couldn't even do it. Is that what we going to say? You're going to be on your deathbed talking about, well, because I was in the program, I wasn't able to break free and I couldn't do nothing. Could never save money because of the program. Everything. So let me get this right. So basically what you telling everybody and what you telling yourself is everything that happens to you in life is somebody else's fault. You done just gave away all accountability for your decisions in life. Is this what we doing? I see people jumping in and out of the stream, in and out, in and out, in and out, because they can't stand the truth. They don't know how to decipher this message. That's because they don't have the Most High in them. That's what it is. I know I'm bothering your spirit, but this is what's gonna get you to change. The only fear you should have is the Almighty. You out here fearing these people, these little weirdos. Little shape-shifting little demons out here. That's what you scared of. Let's continue.
Control is at 40%. The government is fully able to take control of everyone's thoughts, and they insert thoughts and ideas into my mind, and it took me a while to figure out that the thoughts were not mine. Electronic hacking is common, 40%. All my passwords are compromised, and information from my cell phone was stolen so that they can arrange street theater in which...
Somebody said it's not fear, it's annoying. LOL, exercise your demons. You know, that's an interesting comment because I know the annoyance. And the problem is, brothers and sisters who experience these things, their gripe, their petition should be going to the heavens to solve it. That's the point I want to make known. Yes, it's annoying. For a lot of us, it is just annoying. But there's a great deal of people who stop living their life. They stop pursuing their goals, dreams, and ambitions based on the program. And we can't have that. But let's continue.
Well-rehearsed live dramas take place. It's like half complaint and half compliment, right? It's like they enjoy the street theater, but they were mad that it was part of a conspiracy. Next category, people sneaking into their house when they're not there, 35%. Endorse this. People break into my house when I'm not home and move stuff around.
Now, see, this is an interesting one right here. He's talking about people who break into the home while they're not there, move stuff around. Well, a solution for that would be is to get camera systems in your home. You know, and I'm saying this because, I mean, if you feel that way, right? Why aren't a lot of these individuals proactive? I don't get it. If I believe someone is in my home moving things around while I'm not present, I think a reasonable investment would be cameras. I think that would be a reasonable investment. I'm not saying whether it is happening or not happening, but I don't never see no proof. Somebody said my cameras jam at certain times. Right. I mean, listen, I do believe that these things happen. There's a movie where there's people in big homes living in the home right with you, and you don't even know they live in there. What's the name of that movie, man? Oh man, and now I'm gonna be thinking about what the name of that movie is. There's a movie. I mean, these people are like ninjas, bro. They be flipping all through the attic. I'm talking about they be eating they'll bite a sandwich minute before you walk in and have the kitchen cleaned up. They be using your dishes and all that, bro, and be having everything spotless. You don't even know they there. That's a real thing, bro. It's not called squatters, it's called something, bro. Like, there's people who do this. They legit be sleeping in attics and they'll jump through the fireplace. Hold on, I gotta find that movie, bro. Oh man, what is the name of that? Hold up. I think it's called oh man, I think it's called I See You. It's called I See You. It had Helen Hunt in it. Yeah, it had Helen Hunt back in 2019. They called Froggers. Boom, there go Froggers. That's it. That's what they call those people, Froggers, man. And his joint is called I See You with Helen Hunt. I think that really do exist, man, where people be like in your home doing things, bro. They duplicate your keys and all kind of weirdo stuff. Like if you're experiencing something like that, man, you definitely need to move. You definitely need to get on up out of that whole community, that whole environment, because it could be the rental office, it could be anybody. If you feel like they going in your home while you're not there, it can be anybody. That's really, man, that's crazy right there. But get cameras, man. That's something proactive, right? Anyway, let's go.
And I can't leave my house because they will move around my undergarments. Now, the last two categories are about people who are part of the conspiracy. We see police are part of the conspiracy, that's 30%, and neighbors are part, that's 25%. So we see things like state police helicopters are following me around, and many of my neighbors, but not all, are involved. Now, it's curious why somebody would think certain neighbors are involved and not others. I think a lot of this is based on to what degree those neighbors believe the individual who believes they're being gangstalked. So if somebody tends to be a good listener and they tend to believe the person, usually that person will not think that other person is part of the conspiracy. So neighbors that are supportive might not get included in that conspiracy group. We see that these beliefs come with a lot of negative effects, like feeling isolated, and it can cause a desire to counterattack. So,
right, and listen, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, and there's a lot of people who get very frustrated. They go beyond being annoyed by the program. They get frustrated to the point where they're ready to crash out. And that's what if you do that, then it worked. Whatever they were trying to do to you, it worked. Seriously. And you know, you're not standing on what the Most High would have us do. Let me go to these scriptures here. Amos 3:11 tells us that, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, an adversary there shall be even round about the land, and he shall bring down thy strength of thee, and thy palaces shall be spoiled. See, this is prophetic. Now, let me read that scripture again. It says, an adversary there shall be even round about the land, and he shall bring down thy strength from thee. How did he bring down your strength? Psychological warfare, telling you that he's the big bad devil and that he got all these resources and everybody's watching you and everything you do, you'll never beat this, you'll never overcome. We'll send agents to snipe you out if you even try to rob. That's how he weakens you. Having a fear of the devil and not the fear of the Almighty. And it says, and thy palaces shall be spoiled, meaning now you're not able to be plenteous in goods. Your homes are not able to be fruitful. You're not able to maintain and grow and develop. Your palaces are now spoiled. Why? Because now you allowed the enemy to promote fear through psychological warfare. You ain't put on a helmet of salvation. You ain't put on thy buckler and shield and say, Lord, some weird things are happening around me now. All right, Father, make me a warrior. Make me a gladiator. Give me the strength to fight this. Show me where I'm doing wrong. Show me my faults and flaws. So I can make sure I don't have a breach. Let me make sure there's no breach. That I'm not sinning and allow the witches to do their magic.
Why hasn't gangstalking been studied too much? Well, in a way it really has been. Gangstalking is really a version of paranoid and persecutory delusions. What has changed? Why is this now something that's being discussed? Well, it's really about communication, specifically the ability to connect with an online informal community of people who believe the same thing. There's something very powerful about feeling a sense of belonging, even if that connection is made because of a negative experience.
Now, what he just said is deep. A lot of people are trauma bonding. A lot of people are trauma bonding in the TI community. And because they've experienced similar things in life, you know, people find a necessity to bond under that. And then you have a lot of these Judas goats and these false prophets and fake teachers who would take advantage of that. Take advantage of the fact that we've been through some trauma as God's chosen people. And they will keep you in fear. They will keep you in that bubble. They will make sure you don't heal. Let me tell you something, man. At our off-grid camping trip, there's a lot of healing that took place. Oh, man, there's a lot of healing that took place when brothers and sisters came out and we were around the campfire giving, testimonials, praying for each other, being among like-minded people where you didn't have the outside world and different forces coming against you, and you're not in these cities with all these individuals who are stalking and perping. It was a lot of healing that went on, and a lot of us realized that we got to be courageous through all of this, and that we got to make sure that we're not allowing these devils to actually harm our mental health and have us operating in fear. Real talk. And these are some of the solutions, getting to our people. And it wasn't no trauma bonding going on. It was healing going on. You understand? Wasn't trauma bonding. It was healing going on. And that's what needs to take place. Healing. Let's continue.
Years ago, if somebody had delusions, they would interact mostly with family, friends, and mental health professionals. Now they can reach out to a much wider community. In one way, of course, that's good. They're finding support. In another way, it's unhelpful because it reinforces beliefs that are not positive, that could lead to negative outcomes. These communities often promote behavior like following law enforcement around, following politicians around, mental health professionals.
Now imagine that you become the gang stalker at that point. Now you're following other people around. No longer are you being stalked, but now you running up on random cars, and now you even going as far as to following government officials and police officers. You following them. Now you stalking them because they didn't had that much of effect on your mental health. Because Satan has seared his imprint on your conscience. Now you out here becoming a damn psychopath, a maniac. Now we don't let's not act like this haven't existed in the TI community. I've seen it. I've seen people minding their business, leaving the ice cream shop, eating the ice cream cone, and they there with their family at a daggone stop sign, and all of a sudden people running up on the people minding their business. You gang stalking me. Got a cell phone, which your cell phone is looking at you all day, every day. The cell phone see all the porn you watching. Your cell phone know your deepest, darkest secrets. Your cell phone got your fingerprint. Your cell phone got your retinal scan. Your cell phone got everything, but you got a cell phone. Here's the irony in all this. You got a cell phone running up on people who minding their business. Ain't that crazy? Now you like Cuba Gooding Jr. and Boys in the Hood just swinging at the air at that point. Now you just swinging at the air. You know how crazy that looks? That's insane. That means the devil, he's winning. He's winning. He got you fully submerged in Satanism, Luciferianism. He literally got you chasing a ghost out here. I done seen it. People running up on people while they at Ross. Look, I'm being gang stalked. Random people. Random people who don't know you. That's crazy, bro. So I'm not mad at the doc. I'm simply not mad at this doctor for having a non-biased standpoint on this, speaking on it. I gave him a little pushback when he said most of the people are delusional. I do personally believe that there is a program and that this program is vast. And I think they're very resourceful. And I believe there's a lot of companies and agencies involved. But let's make this clear. There is some people who are delusional. There is some people who are delusional and they have platforms. And they're leading more people into a delusion. They lead more people into hopelessness. They're leading more people into hatred. They're leaving more people into, unrest and anxiety. I don't want to see that no more. All right, let's continue.
And neighbors. Ironically, many of the people who say they're victims of gang stalking are actually engaging in stalking behavior. There have been a few notable cases where gang stalking has been connected.
Yo, shout out Sean the Navigator. What's going on? Y'all subscribe to Sean the Navigator as well as Rollo, Floridian Regular Talk. Yeah, subscribe to them brothers, man. Show some love. Support their streams. Support their shows. Brothers of the Truth. I just thought I'd put that out there. Let's go. Let's continue.
To violence. For example, Aaron Alexis, sometimes called the Navy Yard shooter, who killed 12 people at the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard in 2013.
Fact.
Myron May, who in 2014 shot 3 people.
Facts. And this is how they're able to use mind control on some of these individuals to have them shooting up schools and shooting up residential areas and shooting up grocery stores. Why? Because, yes, those people were targeted individuals. Let me make this clear. Every shooter, every mass shooter in the United States, every single mass shooter in the United States were targeted individuals. Yes, they were. They were all targets. They were all targets. What happened was they were placed under the program. The powers that be did exactly what they wanted to do. They irritated them. They annoyed them. They frustrated them. They put them in fear. They put them in anxiety. And then they started using the radio frequencies. Then they started using the mind manipulation. Then they started using all the psyops. And they started brainwashing these individuals through predictive programming, lesser magic, and all these things, and sending voice to skull technology to them. That's when it started. And yep, you're right, Sean. Gematria tells it all. And they use sacred numerology to make this happen. So the question is, are you going to be one of those people who's used at the tutelage of the powers that be? You know, are you going to be one of these individuals that will bend to their whim and be utilized somehow, some way? Or are you going to be that person who follows the Most High, overcome, break down the program, destroy these individuals through prayer, fasting, and supplication, believing in the Almighty? Where are you going to stand with all this? We going to make excuses, or we going to start unifying among people who can see? What we going to do? All right, let's continue.
In the Florida State University Library, and Gavin Long, who shot and killed 3 Baton Rouge, Louisiana police officers.
Probably killing innocent police officers, probably killed innocent people in these situations because they were probably being targeted. They were being targeted. I'm gonna just put it out there. But they let the program win.
And wounded 3 others in 2016. Looking online, we find material designed to support targeted individuals. But much of that material is not from mental health professionals. Much of it is from people who consider themselves targeted individuals. It's easy to confuse quality information from misinformation. The way that people with these beliefs give advice to others.
I think we need mental health doctors to assess some of these people who claim they in this program. I believe that's true. So if you're a brother or sister who've been through this, you know, you should be wise with your words. Sean the Navigator says, facts, new breed. We can either cry about it or join together in righteousness. 100. That's exactly what I'm saying. We could either be solution based, or we can, you know, stick around for the program and just keep complaining about it. I mean, what we gonna do?
With these beliefs is actually quite telling. Some of this information is written in a way that has good grammar, but the content, of course, is incorrect. A lot of it is really about how the paranoid feelings are justified, how there's a conspiracy, and how you can't let the fact that there's no evidence to support the claim get in the way. They say that mental health professionals, law enforcement...
And there are targeted individuals who have evidence, by the way. There are targeted individuals who have evidence, and this is why I want to give him some pushback, because that's a blanket statement that this doc just made. What he just said was, you know, basically assuming that every TI is without any type of evidence, and that's just not true. I see people in the community all the time with evidence that it's real. And I'm not talking about just a red car. I'm not talking about just somebody following you. I'm talking about legit evidence that there has been some type of sabotage, and it has been a cycle of sabotage. And they bringing out documents, paperwork, they got screen recordings, they got voicemails, they got dates, locations, times. I'm talking about they have legit evidence that they are on watch lists, right? So the way he's putting it is like, oh, it don't happen, and all of them are delusion, and none of them have any evidence. I'm giving him pushback on that. He's wrong on that. Let's continue.
Politicians, judges, lawyers, everyone is in on the conspiracy, except, of course, for the targeted individuals. They describe the typical targeted individual as having a very high IQ, a history of political activism, and being influential. It's like they see themselves as threatening to the mainstream culture, government, and society in general.
Chosen ones are threatening to the establishment. It's not even a matter of seeing yourself as being threatening. I'm giving a Doc more pushback because he sounds crazy. If he don't believe that, there's certain people who are basically undesirables because they stand on certain principles. When you go against the grain, when you go against the status quo, and you have differences, that'll rile people up just in your family, even on a personal level. So you think the so-called government who has the CIA and the FBI, the government that made COINTELPRO, the government who has all these agencies and infiltration systems, so what you telling me is that they don't think it's a threat to speak against their communist agendas, their letter agendas? You don't think that they won't put something in place to intimidate brothers and sisters? Now come on now. That means this doctor here has total trust. He's saying he got total trust in the powers that be, that they would never do nothing like that. Even though after 9/11, you had all kind of illegal wiretapping and so forth after the Patriot Act, where it is stated that they will basically spy on everyday citizens. There's so many laws on the books that change to give them the authority to spy on everyday citizens. And you don't believe that there's somebody with higher power, because absolute power corrupts. You think some of them aren't abusing that power? We talking about, you don't think there's human beings who abuse their power? That's basically that's what he's saying, y'all. That's crazy. But anyway, I'm not saying that to say be scared and be worried. I'm bringing out the scriptures. I'm telling you, you got to stand bold, knowing that what you going against the Most High Almighty can deal with all of it. He can deal with all of it. Lamentations 2:4 say he had bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye. In the tabernacles of the daughters of Zion, he poured out fury like a fire. Lamentations 1:10, the adversary, it says the adversary have spread out his hand upon all pleasant things, for she have seen that the heathen enter into her sanctuary. So, we have an adversary. We have an enemy. Anyway, let's continue.
The main challenges with these types of delusions is it's almost like they were perfectly engineered to prevent someone from getting mental health treatment. The delusions work against attempts to get help. It's ironic how the advice of mental health professionals in this situation could be something like, well, don't engage in those online discussions. Stay isolated from them. It's easy to understand how somebody with paranoia could look at that advice and say, that's exactly what the government wants me to do. They don't want me to team up with like-minded individuals because we're revolutionaries with great ideas.
Which is true. That's true. They don't want us to team up with revolutionaries with great ideas. They don't want that. They fear that the most. Why you think the Black Panthers was infiltrated? Drebin says, not enough evidence that's tangible, Breed. They cover it up with every active and application. Right. I mean, but you got to think, even if your evidence is tangible, and your evidence is some real stuff like that you can apply to a court and win. A lot of times there are lawsuits that are won, by the way, not often, but there are times where if you know your stuff, they can be won. But here's the thing. Let's go back to the scriptures where it say our weapons are not carnal. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. So we can win this battle spiritually. All we got to do is follow the Most High. Yup, Cat says, ask God to adorn you with his armor, give you continued discernment, and guide you every day. Facts. Facts. Let's continue.
And they're trying to stop us. So again, everything about the delusion resists treatment. The problem is that it's only going to get worse as these online communities increase in size.
And I've seen it. I've seen it get worse. I've seen the targeted individual community go into shambles. I see people who have followings who are leading people into fear. I see people who have followings who are spreading hopelessness. I see people bringing all type of esoteric beliefs into the equation. I see some dude, he tries to promote his rap albums using being a targeted individual to do it. Would you imagine that? There's people out here who I mean, they would use this community any way they can use it. They would use it in any way they can use it. Why? Because there's a lot of fear and nobody's turning to the Most High. Nobody's looking at the Creator and saying, you know what? The Almighty trump all of this. The Almighty trump all this. Now, see, it's a difference between promoting your mixtape, but trying to target a certain community who are really going through things. So you start controversy and strum up stuff just to try to push a rap song or a rap album or whatever. That's some trash behavior right there. That's real trash behavior. Put them in a dumpster. What's wrong with them? Yeah, making merchandise out of Israel instead of bringing forth healing. Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, these demons in meat suits, they fear us more than we should fear them. They fear us more than we should fear them, man. And it's the community of targeted individuals. My message is stop being afraid. Stop lending thy ear to people who are spreading hopelessness and saying it's hopeless, that you will never accomplish anything. Listen, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. What about that? I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. I don't give a damn how much of my apps they tap. I don't care how much digital harassment that I've experienced over the years being on social media. I don't care how many death threats. I don't care how many daunting phone calls. I don't care how many times they hack my phone or, keep sending them scam callers or follow me on the freeway or send actual agents among me. Actual agents. I don't care how many times they send offers my way. I don't care how many times the actual FBI, contact me through my email. It doesn't matter. I'm standing with the Most High Yah. I ain't got no fear. And I tell everybody, don't have no fear. I laugh every day. I eat good. I enjoy my life. I do what I need to do. I'm still traveling, moving and shaking. And I know the program exists, but I don't pay that no mind, people. I can't have nobody watching my content and be worried about that. Now, if there's certain things happening, you need to get a record, do what you need to do what you got to do. Be proactive in the best way you know how. But stop making excuses. I can't stand an individual that sit up there and make excuses why they doing things. I done heard people say, oh, the reason why I keep misbehaving and getting out of pocket or whatever the case may be, because the EMF, they sent a radio frequency, so I cussed everybody out and did this because the EMF hit me. It was Voice to Skull that did it. I ain't do it. The voices did it. Yo, imagine that. You got targeted individuals saying, I did this because the voices told me to do it. Yo, if that ain't the devil winning, I don't know what is. Anyway, man, I'm done talking about this, man. Listen, hopefully this video helped you out. Listen, I love each and every one of y'all. Somebody said, what a laugh track. I'm actually hitting a laugh track, but it must not be playing. I don't know what happened when I started this stream, but something happened where the audio just did some weird stuff. But anyway, that stuff is crazy, man. But y'all laughing anyway. I ain't even need the laugh track. But listen, man, y'all be blessed out here. I'm about to go ahead and get something to eat, chill out. Look, I love y'all. Shalom and peace.